right, can you guys see this?
Yep.
All right, so
Kind of.
this kind of
I'm on my phone, remember? The
that's
computer
true.
with that.
I'm trying to zoom in. Does that help a little bit?
Yeah, that
Definitely.
helps.
All right, so this is about the Portland. I almost said Portland Zoo. This is Portland's frog taxi. So basically, what this article is about is for the northern red-legged frog. There's some serious work that's been going on. I've been following for like the past 8 years. It's another species that I'm very interested in, just like learning what they're doing with them. But basically, what the groups are doing, like people are doing, conservation groups and just volunteers, but they're literally like getting out of their cars, getting buckets and like helping them get across the road. And I just thought like this is so interesting how this is making headlines and this is something that, is a talking point with how people are making a difference for the frogs. Now, it's another point of thought, I guess. Do the frogs actually breed? Are they successful at getting back? Like, do they care? Like, do the people help them get back? Like, how does that work? But just the fact that, people are out there and they're trying to make a difference and they're, doing something really cool, something worthwhile here for this frog species, I just thought was really interesting. And it's very similar to what I do with Frog Week for the native frogs and toads in Western Pennsylvania with doing
Yeah,
road
I read the
rescues.
article and I was like, oh, I see why Aaron wanted us to see this. This is just his whole thing.
Yeah, over 125 animals I rescued, but I don't know. I just thought that was really cool. Here's a critically endangered animal that has been, raised in captivity, similar to like what DJ is talking about. But like the San Diego Zoo and others, I think where Jeremiah works too is at the Omaha Zoo. Like there's different
Hmm.
zoos that have them, and they breed them and then send them to some facility, I guess, and they live there for a little bit in like a screen enclosure, and then they're released, or they just get thrown directly in. Like they have different methods for how they do it, but I just thought it was really cool to see how, here's a species that's really vulnerable, and people are going out of their way to help, and it's making headline news.
Yeah, it sounds like some of the work like Memphis Zoo does with like the gopher frogs and stuff like that. The
Yeah.
dusky gopher frogs.
What do you think about this, DJ?
It definitely made me think of you reading the article. A lot of the stuff that you do or have wanted to do. It's a really cool little citizen science project too that gets the public involved in amphibian conservation.
I keep
Yeah.
looking at this frog and I just think that it looks like a wood frog that absolutely did not skip leg day or arm day.
It yeah, it's a very interesting rennet. It's like between a mix of a wood frog and I don't know, I could see like maybe mountain chorus frog even. It's like got a
Yeah.
weird look to it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even like slightly green frog type.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a really interesting looking frog. I think the yellow-legged frog is another one that's really cool looking and they're closely related, but I'm not sure if they overlap. Probably not, but they're pretty much just western species. But yeah, I just thought it was kind of cool. Just wanted to kind of start out with it. This is probably the more interesting one that you guys are gonna probably have more to talk about. So the
I would
endangered
love
frog.
to work with Darwin frogs so much. I just love the frogs. They have really unique breeding strategies. That's part of why I liked working with the crown tree frogs so much when I did those guys.
Yeah, 7,000 miles. That's a heck of a hike for that little frog.
Hmm.
All those little frogs, all the males. So, do you guys have any prior knowledge of the southern Darwin's frog, or like, have you ever worked with them, or have you ever seen them in person?
I don't have
I
any
wish.
knowledge or have worked with them or seen them in person, but I know a lot about the chytrid fungus and stuff like that, and like how it's pretty much spread and stuff like
Hmm.
that. I've worked with Panamanian golden frogs at the zoo for quite a while, so
Can you guys hear that?
You're
yeah.
typing?
I just have a random video of myself playing in the background.
Oh no,
Oh,
I can't.
nice.
All right, let's see. Do we want? Yeah, we could do the. Do we want to do the 120 or the 140?
Up to you.
Which
They're
one looks?
really cool either way.
All right, we'll do the 140. Oh, and we would get an ad.
Do you have safety protocols?
I mean, ad blocker has failed me this time. You didn't hear that though. I'm gonna get banned now. All right, here we go. Watching frog documentaries with friends. Can you guys hear it?
No.
No, I can't.
You can't hear it. Why not? Zoom, you gotta fix this, man.
And even each other.
Can you hear it now?
There we go.
It's a rare, tough pollywog that grows up to crawl out of the water. In its forest home of South America,
I can get shots
the
like that now.
Darwin's frog resembles an overweight leaf,
An overweight leaf.
but not all that extra weight is its own. The male's vocal sac is reserved for another purpose, raising
Acid
his
reflux.
young. The female will lay 3 to 7 eggs. Those that hatch into tadpoles are gulped up by the father until they're ready to fend for themselves.
It's like you see why they're so endangered. That's a crazy small clutch size for an amphibian.
Inside his vocal sac, they transform into miniature versions
just
of their
throws
old
it up.
man.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, how long do they have to hop away before he gets hungry?
It's a sheltered life. They don't get out much, but they make it out alive.
All right.
He's just standing there like, don't talk to me or my son ever again.
Sorry, I just wanted to kind of share that to kind of give it some perspective of like why that's so significant. So this must be a juvenile here that
Yep.
that they've, I guess, helped to give birth to. So that's cool. But yeah, so coming out of Chile, and what I thought was the most disappointing thing was the population decreasing by 90% within a year. 90%.
That's awful.
It's probably less than that though, because we can't account for like hidden pockets where they exist. So what's 90 maybe is like hopefully 75 or 80. That's like a very optimistic approach, or it's like 87. But either way, regardless on whatever number you go with, that's still like above half, and that's really bad. So just the fact that these guys are nearly gone from the, face of the earth is really disappointing. But I just kind of wanted you to see this frog. I didn't know if it would open up any conversations, and especially with you like being at a zoo, I don't know if there was any possibility that this would be a species that they would even be interested in working with. But I would definitely come the whole way to Erie just to see this frog.
I don't know if there's a lot of places in the States that have these guys. Not that I've really heard of. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard of any off the top of my head that have gotten into it, and that is a huge reason actually of why, like, private hobbies versus zookeeper, you know what I mean? Where zoos can't even possibly care for every single endangered animal. Like, no matter how many zoos there are, they can't. Which is why especially with reptiles, amphibians, and inverts, it's really important that zoos start to work with private keepers a lot more than what they do, in my opinion.
Agreed. Yeah.
Well, I don't even think it should, end with the endangered or threatened species. If there are other species too, vulnerable species, or even just having the opportunity to work with them, like model species even, or I think that's what they would be, model species. So that way you can compare them to like the more threatened and endangered species. So like a lot of times in science, like the Fowler's toad is a good model species, or like the eastern gray tree frog or the leopard frog. Nothing wrong, or even like something like a corn snake or the garter snake, like just things that we don't really think that much of.